Good afternoon, Keith Thurman.
How you doing? How you doing?
Thank you so much for talking to Bayloric TV. First and foremost, I have to say that I am a huge fan of yours. Been trying to get in contact with you for a while, and finally, I've got to talk to Keith one time, Thurman.
Hey, my pleasure, man. I'm glad to be entertaining you and the
Okay,
rest of the thing.
okay. So let's get right down to it. Let's talk about what's your professional record?
20 and 0 with 18 knockouts.
Okay, and you're nicknamed one time. So why are you nicknamed one time?
The nickname's one time for multiple reasons. It's my favorite nickname of all times. It's to me it just sums up the world of boxing in one little sentence. One time represents my punching power, and one time represents it's just a little reminder to me that I need to watch out for that one punch because anybody's capable of throwing that one hard critical blow that can end any fight at any given moment. So one time's just a name that I hold on and just love to wear, representing, like I said, the world of boxing. I'm a knockout artist, and I think it represents Keith Thurman the best. One time.
Wow, I think it's I've always looked at you, and you'll have to forgive me if I've got this wrong, but I see you as somebody who's very much of a deep thinker. Despite you being a guy who knocks everybody out, you seem to be somebody who's very bit of a thinker. Um, More of a deeper thinker than most fighters that I've seen. I don't know if that's just me, but you seem pretty analytical. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I had over 100 fights in the amateurs, and I didn't just go through there just like a bulldozer. I was learning at a young age. I was learning, I was perfecting my craft, and I've learned a whole lot over the years, and I'm still growing. 24 years old, still moving. I'm maturing each day as it goes on, in the ring and in and outside of the ring, and I feel great. I feel great at the welterweight division. I think I'm gonna be pretty unstoppable. I'm looking forward to my whole career.
Okay, so what got you into boxing in the first place? Let's go back to your amateur career. What got you into boxing?
Um, Really, I was just a young kid, very active, very athletic. I was watching Steven Seagal and Bruce Lee movies with my father at a young age, so I was into mixed martial arts and stuff like that. But I never went to a dojo. I never got into a gym. So when I was 7 years old, there was a boxing exhibition at the YMCA program. It was after school program, and after seeing that exhibition, it was held by my original trainer Ben Getty. I was 7 years old, and I grabbed the paperwork after watching these kids spar and hit the mitts. I was really excited watching their exhibition, and I took the paperwork home, had my mother signed it, and been boxing ever since.
Wow. So
17 years.
So what was your first fight like? Your first amateur fight?
My first amateur fight.
Hmm.
I was 9 years old. I
Okay.
was already training for props for about a year around that time. I was 80 pounds my first amateur fight. I was the first fight of the night, and I stopped the kid in the first round. So we've been creating knockouts ever since the beginning.
So you knew from young you were a puncher.
Definitely in the amateurs, I probably stopped around roughly every what people are saying is it's about around 70% of the people I stepped in the ring with I stopped.
Okay. As an amateur, you stopped a lot of people. But what's it like when Keith Thurman has to engage and now has to exchange and take blows back? What is that like? What's your mindset with that, Keith, as an
Man,
amateur?
that's what the fight game is about. That's what I live for. I mean, if you're really scared of getting hit, you shouldn't even step into the ring. You have no business being there. So I'm enjoying it, man. I'm enjoying the challenges. I'm enjoying that we keep stepping up the competition. I'm looking forward to stepping up the competition. I'm looking forward to more challenging fights. And like I said, I'm growing every day, and I just can't wait to continue to grow further. The world of boxing, there's a lot of great fights out there for me, and I just can't wait to hear what's next.
Mm. In terms of your career, we're going a little bit into amateur cricket because when I go on the YouTube and look about Keith Thurman, I read a lot of stuff about Keith Thurman now, his upcoming fights, but there's no real sort of backstory more about Keith Thurman, and it's always interesting to know more about the fighters, especially fighters that you like. It's good to hear more about their journey. So you're again talking about fights in the future, which is great. I want to bring you back to the point of did you fight for any titles as amateur?
What was that?
Did you fight for any titles as an amateur?
Yes, I was a 6-time national champion,
Wow.
and I also I won the silver medal in the U.S. Olympic trials.
Wow.
I was trying to make it onto the USA team to compete in Beijing, China for 2008,
Okay.
and I fell short in the finals, losing to Demetrius Andrade by points.
Wow. And is it he now? He's a professional fighter now as well, right?
And he's a professional fighter, still undefeated, still doing good in his career.
So maybe in the future that could be a potential fight?
It definitely potentially can be.
Wow.
We've been in the ring many times with each other before. So
Wow. So I've heard many stories of you training with Ronald Winky Wright, the superb boxer. What was your experiences? How did you get in contact with Winky Wright, and how did that happen about you getting all those times sparring with him?
well, what happened was I was boxing in Clearwater.
Okay, that's in Florida,
I was
right?
boxing, yeah, in Clearwater, Florida. I was local. It was actually in my neighborhood. We were training, and we were training out of a recreational center. That recreational center was closing, and they were going to build a brand new $4 million recreational center. And as they did that, they kicked out the boxing program. So as a Clearwater boxing team, we were kind of like homeless. We were gym hopping. We were moving here and moving there. My trainer, Ben Getty, got a call from Dan Birmingham needing help with his amateur program at St. Pete Boxing. So we shifted over to St. Pete Boxing, and we got in cahoots with Dan Birmingham. And throughout the years, as I got a little older, around 16, I was able to get in the ring and mix it up with Winky Wright and Jeff Left Hook Lacey, who, Dan was training at the time.
Jeff Left Hook. So we all know that Jeff Left Hook Lacey could punch a bit with that left hook of his.
That's right.
He only needed one time himself, and if he landed, it was trouble.
That's right. So I learned a lot being in the ring, where I, grew up around power punchers and a very technical, skillful fighter. Winky was one of the sharpest, definitely one of the top world-class fighters of his time.
See, okay, so this is all interesting for me, because what do I see of Keith Thurman? I'm from the UK originally. I'm now in the Caribbean. And if I didn't look on YouTube, I'd say, right, Keith Thurman, big puncher, knocks a lot of guys out. Can he take it? And unfortunately, the media has got a way of, unless you are strong-minded, you believe a lot of media hype, and media can go one way or another. It's either for you or against you. The middle ground is, it's only a matter of time before they're attacking you or they're praising you. So I wanted to know for myself a lot more about Keith Thurman. So now you've got an extensive amateur background in terms of the training you got, the people you've been training with. So, and now you've gone in to become a professional. Anybody looking at Keith Thurman's record as a professional up to the Quintana fight, it was just knockout, 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 knockout. So obviously Keith Thurman can punch. But what else can Keith Thurman do? So I had to do well, up to this point, you were the last person I think I did a prediction about, which was a fight between yourself and Savage.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that I thought that you'd be able to stop Savage late. If not late, you'd win on points. And I thought it was a very good fight for you. I think probably, and it's my opinion, so maybe you can then turn on me and tell me what you think. It's probably the best fight you've had, because you've been able to go the distance. You've been able to throw punches, literally see punches bounce off of somebody who takes a good shot, somebody throw punches back at you, and have to go 12 rounds with somebody who's not a bum, but somebody who, he had aspirations, had been a world champion, and had aspirations of becoming a world champion again. What do you think?
I feel weird. I feel if I don't knock the person out, part of me, because it's in my nature, I always feel a little incomplete. I almost feel like I need to show up to his house and punch him in the face. Like I just feel like the fight's not over because I didn't see him go to sleep. But I would never do that. Zavik is a great fighter inside the ring, outside the ring. He was a real good sportsman and stuff like that. But that's just how I feel. When I look at it, I know that I did a really great performance. It probably was highly necessary for me in my career to experience what I did, which is going all 12 rounds. But part of me does feel like if I really digged, and I really pushed and took more chances in the fight, because I was fighting a little safe and just smart. I was doing smart boxing. If I would have took more chances, I feel like I could have stopped Zavik. But all in all, it was a good fight for me. It was a good learning experience, and it was a fan-friendly fight as well. So
Absolutely.
I'm happy with everything.
So, I mean, I spoke to another favorite of mine, Julian Jackson, and
Yeah.
Julian Jackson was known to just knock people out unconscious, as you know. And he had a record quite similar to your own of just going through knocking people out until he met who was it? Mike McCallum. And Mike McCallum was hurt in the fight, but because Mike McCallum was a veteran and a very good boxer, he was able to absorb what Julian Jackson had and come back and in the end stop Julian Jackson. Now,
Wow.
the difference for yourself is obviously you've now been in a fight where you've gone 12 rounds, you've been in a fight where you've literally thrown your best punch or on the night, and the guy's taken your best punch and still kept coming. As a fighter inside, what does that make you feel like?
That I obviously didn't hit him hard enough. Because to me, everybody's body can only take so much. So it's all about positioning that one special punch. That's what one time also really represents. One time doesn't mean I just hit you once and you're out of there. No, it means that if I hit you with a very special punch, you will go to sleep, just like the rest have.
Wow. If they make it, they should make it the next fight night champion series they make. They'll have to put you in the game. You've got to be part of the game, and not only put you part of the game, you're going to have that special one-time punch, definitely.
Definitely, maybe make it the uppercut.
Well, people say to me, a lot of the UK fans, we talk boxing, they say, who does one time remind you of? And I said, there's a couple of guys that come to mind, and the two guys that you remind me of is David Haye and Nigel Benn. Can you see the resemblances there?
In David Haye, I do. I've seen people tell me that he's the heavyweight version of me.
Yes.
And there's similarities and stuff, but to me, most of the time, every fighter is just their own fighter. Sometimes we watch tape and we admire other fighters, but we always got to do what we were taught in the ring. And it's been working for me so far, so I'm gonna keep doing it.
Right. So okay, now you've had your best career win against Savage. I mean, the fight beforehand against Quintana, a lot of people were saying, you know what? I don't know, man. That Keith Thurman, man, I ain't so sure about him. He may get exposed in this fight. And you took Quintana to school. You dealt with the boy, as they say. What did you feel like coming into that fight on the back of a lot of people saying, you know what, I ain't so sure about Keith Thurman? How does that make you feel?
No, of course people aren't going to be sure of Keith Thurman. They don't know who Keith Thurman is. I am Keith Thurman. I know exactly who I am. I know exactly where I come from. So, like I said, I've been groomed in the world of boxing from a young age. Been in the ring with multiple world champions. I was in the ring with champions before they became champions. So I got to spar people and then watch them become a champion and know I was going toe to toe with them. Just one of those names is Chad Dawson. I was working with Chad Dawson before he ever grabbed the title, and then we watched him grab the title, and then he beat Bernard Hopkins, and so I'm not surprised that people are not sure what to think about me because they haven't seen enough of me. That's why I'm here now. I'm on the big scenes. I'm in the world of boxing on the top. They keep saying my name in the mix with all the big fighters now, and sooner or later, everyone's going to find out am I the true deal. And I believe I am.
Okay, let's move on. We've now got the welterweight division, which you are in, and you're in that mix now. And I did something a little special today. I don't know. How much do you know about BoxRec?
A little bit. It's BoxRec, yeah.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, Keith Thurman is ranked number 9 in box rack. And below you is people like Andre Berto, Ruslan, the guy that fought Timothy Bradley the other night, Maidana,
Yeah.
Shane Mosley, Mike Jones. Paulie Malignaggi is ranked 19th. Ortiz is ranked 22nd. Frankie Gavin is 23rd, and Carson Jones is 24th. Okay. Right, those are the guys below you. And I know there's been talk about yourself and Paulie Malignaggi and the back and forth between that. You've got here Victor Ortiz as well.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen Britain's Frankie Gavin fight?
No.
You've never seen him fight. Okay, so let's move further up. Going to talk about Andre Berto. What do you think?
What about Berto? Me and Berto, we go way back. You
right.
know, I was also sparring Berto when I was 16 years old. I was sparring Berto when I was 13 years old. You know, so that's what I'm saying. You know, I got a long history in this sport. You know, I've been in the ring with champions before they became champions. Berto is a great fighter. He's announced that he's moving away from his trainer, Tony Morgan. So we'll see how that affects his career. Berto is fast. He's talented. He's got a lot of strength. You know, he's very athletic. But his past few fights, he just hasn't been pulling it out. I think he's made some bad decisions in the ring. You know, sometimes you go in with a plan and it doesn't start to work, so you got to change your plan if you really want to win, like Timothy Bradley did the other night. Timothy Bradley, he was going toe-to-toe. It wasn't working, so he outboxed the dude and won the fight, you know?
Yes,
and sometimes you got to make adjustments like that. So hopefully Berto finds the adjustment that he needs to make and starts winning fights again and turns his career around.
Okay. The next two, you've got Chris Van Dien, who just beat Matthew Hatton. We'll skip past him. Then you've got a very interesting fight, and the reason why I've skipped past him because you've got Devin Alexander and Kell Brook. They're fighting soon. Do you know anything about any of those two fighters?
I think it's a great fight. I can't wait to see the fight, and if I can get my hands on the winner of that fight, that'd be fabulous too.
Okay, have you seen Kell Brook fight?
Yes, very, very little, but I've seen him fight. He's a pretty decent boxer, decent frame. You know, his size, the way he's built. He's built pretty good frame and pretty sturdy, strong guy. He's a good fighter.
How do you see the fight coming between him and Alexander?
It depends. I believe Alexander's going to box, and I think Brook is going to use that frame that I was talking about. I think he should pressure Devin Alexander and really just make it as tough as a fight for Devin Alexander as he possibly can, because Alexander doesn't like to be in trouble. So put the boy in trouble. Get him in trouble, get him hurt.
Sounds interesting. Okay, then you've got Manny Pacquiao at 5, who there's rumors about him fighting Marquez yet again. Any thoughts about Manny Pacquiao?
Manny Pacquiao is Manny Pacquiao. You know, he was a lighter guy that moved up into the welterweight division. They did good matchmaking on him. He beat the people that Floyd beat. He was, following Floyd's shadow, trying to get a big money fight with Floyd Mayweather that they never made happen. And, he got put out by Marquez, I think him and Marquez are fairly equal fighters. I'm not looking forward to really watching number 5, but one thing that you can say about it is it's guaranteed a good fight, because that's kind of fight that it is. Those two people just come to hit each other in the face.
Absolutely. Next on the list, Robert Guerrero, and we'll have to put Robert Guerrero and Floyd Mayweather going to fight soon. Floyd Mayweather's had a lot of time out. He's a year out of the whole prison thing. He's had things behind the scenes. He's now coming back to fight Guerrero, who had a pretty good win against Berto. And now Floyd is 36 years old. Do you think that's going to make a difference coming into this fight?
It kind of is. When he fought Cotto, I thought his age was showing a little bit. I don't know if Ed really mentioned it, but I saw it. I felt like he was slowing down some. But, I think he's still too smart for Guerrero. The judges are always favor Mayweather, especially when Mayweather fights in Vegas. And I see it really hard for Guerrero to pull out a decision. And Floyd always picks his fights wisely, so I think it'll be an easy performance, just like him versus Victor Ortiz.
Okay. And one Manuel Marquez. If the fight between Pacquiao and Marquez weren't to happen, how do you think Keith Thurman would do against someone like one Manuel Marquez, who does go down but does get up?
I would take him out. You know, he's too easy to hit. Floyd showed it. You know, Pac-Man just came in and brawled. You know, they're both about the same size. No one has a real advantage. If I was to fight Marquez, I got a height and reach advantage. I got a size advantage. You know, to me, they're little dudes and they don't belong in the welterweight division. You know, I wanna clean up the welterweight division and take all those puffed up 140 pounders and have them all go back down to their weight class.
Now the thing is, Keith, because you're knocking everybody out, and because a lot of these fighters you've actually trained with beforehand, would that make it more difficult for you to make these fights because of the fact that you've had those previous engagements with them?
I mean, some people say yes. I like to say no because I feel like, you know, a lot of people, I don't know, it's confusing. I don't know where I really stand. Some people are starting to give me credit. Some people are really starting to believe that I am the truth, but some people think that I'm still a fake. So I'm hoping on whoever thinks I'm a fake, just prove it to me. Step in the ring and beat me. Show the world, show the fans, show everyone that Keith Thurman can be beat. And that's what I'm waiting on. You know, I told people before, I have a O. I'm an undefeated fighter. That's what this line means. I have a O, and I'm not afraid to let it go. I'm not scared of losing. I'm not scared of getting beat, but you better do it the right way. Obviously step in the ring, be clean, and let's go to town. Toe to toe, a mano a mano. I love this game, and I don't see myself losing anytime soon.
You mentioned this point about being clean. Timothy Bradley made a point the other day before he was preparing to fight this guy, Ruslan. I can't pronounce the guy's last name, and apologies to you, Ruslan, if you're listening. But he mentioned about fighters, all the fighters he fought were on PEDs. Is PEDs that big a problem in boxing?
What's that? What?
PEDs, performance enhancement drugs.
Oh yes. They've been slipping in here and there, and I don't think it's a big issue in the world of boxing, but I think certain people, I think certain older gentlemen, older fighters who want to keep competing with the young fighters, I think that's where we have to watch out for the performance enhancing substances. I'd have to clearly say that, in all sports there are athletes out there using performance enhancing supplements. But in boxing, I'd have to say, our percentage is still, for the most part, low. I'd have to say we if I was to just throw a number out there, I would say 80% is pretty clean. I'd say, a strong number like 80% for the world of boxing. Most people aren't doing it, but you got to watch out, and they try to slip it in here and there. People want to be strong. People don't like to lose. So
Tony Thompson made a statement with regard to the PED thing. He said, well, if everybody took PEDs, then we'd be on a level playing field. If everybody took the PEDs, then what would be the fuss? What would be the bother? It really would come down to technique then, because you can't say this person's got an unfair advantage or that person's got an unfair advantage, because we're all taking the same supplements, we're all using the PEDs, so let's get in the ring and fight. How would that work out?
It would work out by technically making a little bit more entertaining fights, because you have fighters that have boosted their stamina to levels that they weren't able to without supplements. And, so you'd have, you pretty much have more Pac-Man fighting Marquez's, or more Pac-Man versus Pac-Man's, like just energetic fighters going at it. But, the same argument, two people taking it, and that's an even playing field. It comes down to skills. Well, two people not taking it, it comes down to skills. So that's why we like to keep it out of the sport, because we really want you to show all of your natural talents and abilities and to be a real world champion.
And finally, I've got to ask this question. When I watched the interview back, or not the interview, the sort of confrontation between yourself and Malignaggi, you seemed visibly upset. It looked like it became almost personal to you between yourself and Malignaggi, because Malignaggi called you a dummy, because he basically says that you're just wanting to fight anybody, and Malignaggi is basically saying, well, no, it's a business. I'll fight you if you bring in enough money. What are your responses to that?
my response to that is it's an awkward one, because in reality, I'm not mad at Paulie for saying the statement that he said. We fighters, we take blows. We take all the damage, and the promoters only like to try to pay us so much. So they say, oh, well, there's more money in this fight over that fight, and right now where I'm at in my career, if Paulie was to fight me, he's saying they already offered him the fight at one point or whatever. He says that it wasn't enough money. So even though the world of boxing likes it, the fans would love it. The world of boxing, whoever the promoters are, whoever, they're not putting the money behind it to make it happen. And so, and as a businessman, you can't be mad that somebody would rather go somewhere else and make more money. But it just shows you what has happened to the world of boxing and what has become of the world of boxing, how it's a money sport, and this is why I'm trying to climb the ladder in the ranks, because I'm trying to get enough respect so that I can fight the big guys and the big networks will put the money up saying that this is worth it. It's just a game. It's just a game, and you got to play it just like everybody else, But, I was frustrated and I was disappointed because I'm a young, hungry fighter, and, I'm willing to fight him for almost nothing. I'd fight him for almost nothing. I really just want to make the fight happen. And right now, I don't know how much money people need, man, but I come from a family that didn't have much. So I'm truly grateful for everything that I'm earning right now. And, like I said, I'll step in the ring with anybody because, I want to be a true champion. I want to show everyone that Keith Thurman is the best in the world.
So
that's what we're going to do.
So who are your promotional team at the moment?
Right now, we're just managed by Al Heyman, and we are free agents.
Okay. Well, I have excellent stuff. You've got a very shrewd man in Al Heyman, so he'll put you in the right direction for sure.
That's right. So I got faith in him and my skills. So.
Absolutely. So is there anybody? I know you talked about Malignaggi. Is there anybody else that Keith Thurman would want to face like soon? Or is there anybody eyeing up or potentially you could fight next?
Really, I've been trying to think about it because a lot of people are fighting each other. Devin Alexander Brooke, they're fighting each other. Timothy Bradley just fought, so he's not going to fight anytime soon. So many fights are either already made. Madonna is still running around fighting other people, ducking me. So really, just to try to limit and find out who's even left to fight, I like the name Miguel Cotto.
Wow.
Coach said he might fight again. He said he doesn't really know if he wants to retire. So I say step in the ring. Let's make that happen. Or Victor Ortiz. If Victor Ortiz still doesn't, those are two great fights.
I tell you, there's two other fights that might be interesting for Keith Thurman. And there's the man who he's the IBO champion, Chris Van Herden, who just beat Matthew Hatton. That'd be an interesting fight. You in South Africa or him coming over to you?
Okay.
Him or?
Yeah, I didn't get to see that fight, so I don't know that fighter that well.
And what about Carson Jones?
I'd fight him. I don't got a problem with it. But I'm for the most part, like you said, I'm trying to look at the ranks and I'm just trying to move up. If the networks will take the fight, I'll take the fight. I'm just going on with what my team, what Al Heyman proposes and whatever HBO proposes.
Well, to be honest with you, Keith, you'll have Guerrero and Mayweather fighting, as you said. Alexander and Brooke are going to fight soon. So by June, July, the division's going to be wide open for you to take an opportunity. And who knows what happens if Alexander's still champion. I would suspect that Alexander would fight Floyd next if Floyd beats Guerrero. That's my suspicion.
Yeah.
That might happen.
It might happen.
So, anyway, Keith, thank you so much for talking to Bayloric TV. It's been a pleasure talking to you and learning a little bit more about Keith Thurman. And I really look forward to continue following your fights. Do you have a Twitter page or a Facebook page?
Yes, I got a Facebook page. I have a fan page, and I have a personal page.
Okay.
So go ahead and check that out. And I also have a website. It's KeithThurman.com.
Okay.
So you guys can, everyone can check those out whenever you want.
And what about your Twitter page, Keith?
Twitter, I don't really go on Twitter. There is a Twitter account. If there's someone tweeting, that's
Yes.
not me, because
Right.
I made a Twitter account, but I have not done one live tweet since I made my account.
So
I'm most
glad.
likely going to delete my account. So whoever's tweeting as Keith Thurman, that's not me.
I'm so glad you said that, because I've sent 1 or 2 tweets to you, and there's been no reply. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So just hit me up on Facebook.
I will make it quite clear to the Twitter fans that that's not you.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Keith Thurman. Keith, one-time Thurman. Thank you so much for talking to Bayloric TV.
Hey, thank you. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.